in terms of volunteering, we've seen multiple people. We could talk about Sean.
Yep.
We could talk about myself that have
Yep.
greatly benefited from volunteering in church.
For sure.
And I think that line is a good tension to have, right? Our same friend who pastors in New York also said like he had all the worship teams take a break for the summer. You know what I mean? Because they are multi-site and they do have to set up. And so they stripped down worship and went to just acoustic, you know, in all the multi-sites. We see this tension of volunteers. Even when I was at Rhythm Sunday, you guys didn't have the LED wall outside for the overflow. You just had a TV and you're like, yeah, it wasn't worth the time.
Yeah. And the strain on the volunteers.
And the strain to set it up. So there's a healthy tension there that I think the church needs to recognize, and the volunteers need to be responsible as well as with boundaries on their end. For
sure.
Right? But talk about some of the positive sides of volunteering. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now if I didn't volunteer at my church.
So I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now if I hadn't started out volunteering. I think volunteering is massively important. Here's what volunteering does for you. Again, my mind's just bouncing around with all the different things. But volunteering, one, it allows you to contribute to the kingdom. You're working in the kingdom, which, by the way, the side note, this is really sad. Post-COVID, volunteerism in the church is down. I think by 60%.
Wow.
Like there's some churches that I could name right now that had a base of like 14,000 volunteers that now have a base of 2,500 volunteers.
Oof.
Still the same amount of campuses, all that stuff.
Yeah.
People just didn't want to come back and give their time
anymore.
But volunteering, not only does it allow you to help build the kingdom, it gives you community. You know, when you're in the church, when you're you know, like going the same way, the same mission, the same thing with people.
Yeah.
You're rubbing shoulders, especially for men. I think volunteering for men is like, we were built to work. Yeah. We're built to move and do things. And when we get to do that with other men, with other men of God, man, the conversations that take place, everything. So but then it also allows people to develop skills that you might have to pay for other places. So for instance, Sean Cannell, now, Think Media, all the stuff that he runs, it started because I was like, I want to do video announcements.
Yeah. It's like in 2003.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, 2003, 2004. Like recording on like this little thing, the little DVR tapes, and putting in the thing and the VHS and how it all worked. Yep. But it was so it was us giving him a tool that he couldn't afford himself. We bought a camera,
which was a lot of money.
Which was a lot of money back then. We bought. This is probably illegal, but we bought a student edition of Adobe. And we probably shouldn't have used it for church. But it was youth ministry in the early 2000s. We were just doing what we were doing, right? So, but we gave him editing software, which he wouldn't have gotten on his own, on a computer, which he may have had a computer, right? But we got all that stuff in there dialed. And then fast forward to today, he put in tons of time, tons of late nights, but he learned and he got skilled. And he, same thing for me. I volunteered. I was doing youth ministry. I was getting paid $150 a month. I wasn't full time until our youth ministry hit 150. 150 people on a regular, on a weekly basis.
Wow.
And then from there, but man, it got me scrappy.
Yeah.
It got me trying to figure out how do I build teams because I can't do all this stuff by myself.
Shout out to Olo Femi in the house. I think I said your name right, but he said, "Preach, church volunteering started my film production career." Go. And so here's his YouTube channel.
Love it.
He's hanging out in the chat. And so, 500,000 subscribers.
Let's go.
He's making videos. He's making films. He's crushing it, know? And so there's so many guys like this in the YouTube space who started exactly the way Sean started, myself included, that had I not had the opportunity to learn all this, or even though this stuff existed and how to combine it all, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now.
And how many musicians that started playing guitar in their youth group, worship band that are now out there, they're recording artists, they're session musicians, all sorts of stuff. They're able to earn an income now.
The pros, I think, of volunteering far outweigh the cons massively. I think.
Do you know how many wedding volunteer coordinators and how many like party planners and all that stuff got their start? Doing events in church.
Yeah, it's good.
Volunteering for events.
Graphic designers, clothing lines. Yeah. I think there's also a good tension of how can churches build in systems so that volunteers can feel cared for.
That's good.
And also have opportunity to try different things and seeing kind of like what is their sweet spot, but also leveraging technology and all the things that we get to do with, with the tech and just making stuff simpler.
Hey, you want to see something kind of crazy? Over 75% of the people that watch this channel are not subscribed. Please consider subscribing and turning your bell notification on so that you don't miss anything we have going here.
Even simple things like having food for volunteers.
For sure.
Like little things like that can go a long way, I think, to boost morale in with that specific conversation.
I think when you build it into your culture, a culture of appreciation, because not everyone has the same, like, there's love languages. Not everyone has the same appreciation language, right? Like a pat on the back and a good job, Rue, might do it for you.
Yeah.
But for others, it's like, man, I'd much rather have a gift card, or I'd much rather have, a one-on-one coffee with my team lead, or so it's you got to figure out what your volunteer appreciation love language is for your volunteers. Yep. That's why I think it's important to have people over teams that can figure that stuff out.
Yeah.
But if you build in to your overall organization, not just church, but organizational culture of you appreciate those that do the work, then it makes them feel a part of something and they want to stay there. What was wrong with Hillsong is there's very much a rock star mentality of, I want to do everything I can to get to the top person, because that's what we're here for, is the top person. We're here to serve. We're not here to serve the kingdom. We're here to serve the top person. We're here to make Brian happy, or we're here to make Carl happy, or we're here to make, and so that then becomes a very toxic volunteer culture, because then you're volunteering to be seen. And when you're not seen by the top guy, then you get resentful.
Yeah.
And that's what you have a lot of. And that's what you hear, that poison in a lot of as the people are talking about their grievances with the church.
Do you think he could alleviate being the top person by just giving more access, or do you think it just there was so much that people wanted from him, there was no way he was gonna, because you pastor Rhythm Church,
right? How
many people are coming on a Sunday approximately?
550-ish.
550-ish. Okay, so it's not 7,000 that they were pulling, but it's still 500 people that I'm sure want to talk to you. I'm sure want your attention. You're out there. You're not in the green room. You're not hiding out. You meet everybody. Do you think having a culture where you meet everybody, like say a Chris Brown at North Coast, he's always out there. There is no green room, right? He's always mingling.
Right.
Do you think that could alleviate some of this volunteering, wanting to be seen by the guy because the guy is exclusive and he's private and he's pulling up and he's jumping out the car, walking on the stage, preaching, right? Like, do you think that kind of creates that sort of culture, or do you think that culture was just a byproduct of how they were building it and he had to do all that stuff?
I think it's a both and.
Okay.
I think it's for sure a byproduct of what they had going on. I'd also say that you can only be accessible to so many people.
Okay.
And with the amount of people that I'm sure wanted to connect with, talk with, it can be draining. Okay. But I know, like for me personally, every Sunday I'm going home tired. Okay. So I know that Sunday night I'm exhausted because I'm there. I'm there to minister God's word, and I'm there to love his people. So, but again, it's not 7,000. Yep. But there's also a piece of it too. Like, there's the green room culture, there's the hiding away. But I think if you can platform other people to where it's not about you being the superstar. Yeah. Right. So like there's always, like, human nature is to make an idol of everything. Right. Sure. So people, like, we go out in public and people are like, no way, is that Ruslan? Yeah. We've been at dinner and they're like, hey man. Yeah. Sure. That's just what people do. It's we can't help but celebrify. I don't know if that's a word, but celebrity-ize people. Yeah. And so that there's always going to be an element of that. But I think the more that you can, like, spread the influence and spread the authority to other people, then it doesn't just become about you.
And so it's so interesting. So I think that's so good. And I think, like, when people want to meet the guy, like, what is it that they really want? Like, what do you think they really want? They probably want a word of encouragement. They want to be seen. Yeah. Some of them might want a favor. Right. Can you help me with da-da-da-da-da, right? And so I think, like, you pointed that out. Like, I did the Greg Laurie's Harvest Church's Young Adults, right? And I stuck around. I met every single person. Right. I literally had, I'm not exaggerating, I probably had about 50 individual conversations. Right. Right. And it's good for me because it so much of what I do is just numbers on a screen. Like, there's 367 people watching right now. Okay. Well, man, yesterday, Jeff, there was 500 people watching. So I wonder why there's less people watching.
That's probably me.
It just becomes a number on the screen for me, right?
Yeah.
But when you go and talk to 50 people,
Right.
it's so good for me to see 50 people that these are real
Yeah.
people on the other side of this exchange, and that I should be praying for them. I should be thinking about them. I should be considering them. I should be humanizing them. So I personally have no problem with access.
Right.
Clearly, and we're not all going to go and have waffles with my wife. You know what I mean? Like that's not going to happen.
For sure. Right.
But I could sit and I could engage and I could be present and what do they ultimately want? And so I just think of like when I pulled up to Hillsong, New York City in 2016, I was on tour. I wasn't in a great place spiritually, and I was hoping to see Carl. He wasn't there. Rich was there. What did I really want? I didn't really want much. I think I just wanted like a, hey man, good to meet you, man. What do? You do music, bro? That's rad.
Right.
How awesome is that,
Right.
man? Dude, I'll be praying for you, man. Good to like. I think that's what most people want. Like they want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to be acknowledged, and a small percentage of them are weirdos.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And probably shouldn't meet the guy.
Right.
But I think that's what most people want. And so I think there's something healthy to you saying, yeah, I'm going to stick around and I'm going to make myself accessible. And I think it's healthy for the culture around the person, the guy, you know? So I just wonder if how much of that was he just couldn't do it. And,
Well, I think,
you know, and because I do feel like there is an element where you start creating the fame machine, you know what I mean?
100%.
And you start playing into some of that.
Yeah. Well, because it feels good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I mean, it feels really good.
I'm not going to be out there with the commoners. I'm going to be in the green
I'm
room
in the green
doing
room.
important
and,
things.
And it's everyone wants to know me and be, you know, like, and there are the weirdos that are going to come up and be like, hey, here's my issue with my grandma, and can you pray for that? And you're like, man, there's other stuff to do or whatnot. But then there's this now, because of the celebrity culture we live in, some people just want a picture with you, which is weird.
Yeah. I'm cool with that too. We could take a picture.
Exactly. I mean, that's fine. But the thing is like, James talks about Elijah was a man just like you and me.
Yeah.
You know, that we have a tendency to, we want to post a picture with the celebrity that we were just with, or or the cool pastor that we were.
Sure.
Like we want to, which is again, maybe it's a clout thing for people nowadays.
Yeah.
Not just like for me, and I think you're a little bit different in this. So again, we always have to think about, okay, you wanted to go because you were like, man, I just want some encouragement right now in my music.
Yeah.
And this, I look up to this guy.
Yeah.
And so that's good. For me, I'm like, I want to sit down with this guy and I want to learn how the heck he did what he did. I want to know, like, man, how did you grow that team? How did you, what's the whole structure here?
Yeah.
Who did you, like, I want to gain leadership principles. So if I'm going to have moments in time, when we met with Greg Laurie, I just want to ask that guy questions all day long.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? What do you think about that? How did we go there?
Yeah.
How we get that, you know?
Yeah. And he sat there and answered.
He sat there and answered them.
Super cool.
He's super cool dude. Yeah. And then I wanted a picture with him.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this is Greg Laurie.
Yeah.
Bro, this guy's a legend in the kingdom. But it was after massive, just personal communication.
Yeah.
Hey, this is a segment from our daily after party stream. Consider partnering with us online for as little as $5 a month to get access to these daily after party streams completely unedited. You'll also get access to our podcast as they are streamed live into the community before anyone else gets to see them, get to interact with our guests, get access to our private Discord server, and a discount code for our store for as little as $5 a month. Ultimately, that will help towards helping us continue contextualizing the gospel using media and podcast here on YouTube. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.